So the WNBA has a huge media problem. And we know that the WNBA has a huge media problem because we just saw the WNBA platform a journalist who has referred to Caitlyn Clark as I'm paraphrasing, a spoiled white teenage boy who uses the privileges that come alongside that. That is a paraphrase. I'm not saying that was the exact quote, but I may have misplaced a few words here and there. And again, this is someone who I'm not giving any time of day, but we see the actual WNBA. So if we saw Shams broke the news on this trade, why? Shams is in with Clutch. Jewel Lloyd is a Clutch client. That's why Shams was able to break the trade. And then the day before, Annie Constable, I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. She went, and look, she is the only credible, I'm not going to say the only, because there are other credible journalists. The main credible journalist that breaks things. She broke the news that Kelsey Plum was being sent to the Sparks, Jewel Lloyd's being sent to the Aces, and the only thing that's holding up this trade is they need to find out what's going to the Seattle Storm. But 2 days earlier, a journalist who, in fairness, does have Seattle Storm insider information. Like, that is a given. Like, it is known. She worked with the Storm. She has some insider information from Storm. Said, Jewel Lloyd's preferred destination is the Aces, and there is rumors are the Los Angeles Sparks are trying to get involved in a 3-team trade. They're trying to get involved in a 3-team trade. Like, that was basically what was said. It was like, this was their desired destination, and rumor is the Sparks are trying to get involved. And then the next day, Annie Constable basically said, no, this is happening. They're just trying to work out the details. But the WNBA decided to bypass who broke the news in Shams officially, who then basically said, no, this is happening. And they credited somebody who said, well, Jewel wants to go to the Aces and, the Sparks are trying to get involved. Like, madness. And this same reporter, by the way, 10 days ago, reported that Unrivaled had a 3-second shot clock. I repeat, said Unrivaled had a 3-second shot clock. And of course, the WNBA is only going to credit the journalist who doesn't know anything about the sport of basketball. And has referred to their face of their league as a paraphrased, but almost certainly quoted, a white teenage boy who uses the privileges to come alongside it. And you want to know why? Because she complains to referees. Like, that was the reason. She complains to referees. And I'm like, man, every player in that league complains to refs. Skylar Diggins is known for running up to refs doing the finger twirl to review calls. Nobody complains more than Skylar Diggins. Nobody complains. Like, Caitlyn Clark complains a lot to referees. Aaliyah Boston complains to refs. Angel Reese complains to refs. Skylar Diggins does. No one does it more than Taurasi. No one does it more than the Phoenix Mercury. The Phoenix Mercury, half their team nearly got suspended. But, of course, she's going to pick out Caitlyn Clark. And this is who the WNBA decides to platform. And then, that's the thing. It's, and it's the only time the WNBA were like, oh, this was rumored by this person and linked the freaking post from that person. It's just frustrating to see, because I'm like, they won't ever, when Annie Constable is breaking actual news, she literally broke the fact that they were, the Fever were rumored to get Stephanie White weeks before. Broke the fact that Kennedy Carter wasn't going to be signing a qualifying offer. She's breaking all of these qualifying offer news. No credit for her at all, because she's actually a credible journalist. And then there are people that are pretend journalists, don't know anything about the sport of basketball, do have insider information, because back when nobody wanted to cover the league, they covered the league, so they do have some insider sources, but don't actually know enough about the sport of basketball to not realize that Unrivaled was never going to have a 3-second shot clock. I remember genuinely, she was quote unquote reported by her. It was a 3-second shot clock and people were going mad. And she's the same person that said Sabrina Ionescu deserved the $1 million contract. But then when it was rumored Caitlyn Clark was going to get one, said this is unfair for the rest of the players. Imagine being Dejanay. How would it feel being Dejanay to see, Caitlyn Clark getting all the money after, what has happened to her? And I'm like, what the hell does Caitlyn Clark have to do with that? All that Caitlyn Clark did, but like all that happened to Caitlyn Clark, all that Caitlyn Clark did was, I don't know, not turn her head around when Dejanay went Captain Insano on her. She was looking towards her claw. And again, whether or not you think it was intentional or not, the fact is that it was, at best case scenario, a reckless, unintentional claw to the eye. Like, even if it was unintentional, it's still a flagrant one. Even again, like, I'll give Dejanay the benefit of the doubt, and that it was unintentional. All Caitlyn Clark did was be on the receiving end of a claw to the eye. But yeah, apparently, according to this journalist, it's a big issue if Caitlyn Clark's in the league, because how would Dejanay feel? I'm like, and then again, nothing Annie Constable breaks. You don't credit Shams, who actually broke the news, who broke the official news. It was Shams. You don't credit Annie Constable, who effectively broke that this is going to happen. It's just they're trying to work out the details. But you'll credit the person who said, "Oh, Jewel Lloyd wants to go to Vegas, and the Sparks are trying to get involved in that." Like, that's like me posting on Twitter, Jimmy Butler's preferred destination is Phoenix, and the Milwaukee Bucks are trying to get involved in the trade, or insert team here are trying to get involved in the trade. Like, well, yeah, duh. Like, you're still going to credit Shams for breaking the news. And first of all, you're not going to credit anyone for breaking the news. It's just this transaction happened. No one credits who freaking, like, that's like saying when Rudy Gobert got traded and Donovan Mitchell got traded, or was it Rudy Gobert and Mitchell, were they traded at the same time? But it's like crediting Brian Windhorst for going, what is going on in Utah? What is going on in Utah? It's like the NBA saying, as hinted to by Brian Windhorst. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. And worst of all, it would be like Skip Bayless it'd be like Skip Bayless making a call on his show, and then the NBA crediting Skip Bayless with something. And by the way, like, what your one, I'm not even giving her a name, has said about Caitlyn Clark is definitely comparable to stuff that Skip Bayless early in his career would have said about a LeBron James, about a Chris Bosh. Like, wonder if they had proof who was predicted these two would land on each of these teams. Like, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating to see that nothing will ever change. I say nothing will ever change, but of course it's going to change. Of course it's going to change, because you're seeing actual, like, credible, like, journalists come in. Heck, we had somebody basically joke about the Flaujae situation, a journalist. Maybe, I don't know why I did quotes. This person might be a legitimate one. Talk about the Flaujae situation, when called out about it, not apologise, but be going mad at Caitlyn Clark fans for not understanding the context of Ari Chambers saying the WNBA is so important, and then refusing to apologise, and then basically calling them out, demanding all this stuff, and then refusing to apologise when they realised that they made a statement based on not understanding the context, and they were completely wrong on it. And I'm like, the hypocrisy is crazy. It is crazy. But anyway, I'll see you guys.